Hello, welcome back to Communication. Today you're going to learn how to answer every question from the APCSA 2021 FRQ. For question number 1, we're looking at the word match class. It has a private secret string member. It has a constructor that puts that together. It has a score guess method that you'll implement in part A, and it has a find better guess method that you'll implement in part B. For question 1A, you're writing the word match method score guess. To determine the score to be returned, score guess finds the number of times that guess occurs as a substring of secret, and then multiplies that number by the square of the length of guess. Occurrences of guess may overlap within secret. For the code for 1A, you're writing the score guess method. You initialize the score variable to 0 and occurrence variable to 0, and the guess len variable to the length of guess. You go over each character in secret, and then you check if guess string appears at the start of the current substring you're looking at. So secret.substring I.index of guess equals 0. If that's the case, increment occurrence by 1, and then at the end you return the score as it was described in the question, which is occurrence times length squared. For question 1B, you're writing the word match method find better guess, which returns a better guess of its two string parameters, guess 1 and guess 2. If the score guess method returns different values for guess 1 and guess 2, then the guess with the higher score is returned. If the score guess method returns the same value for guess 1 and guess 2, then the alphabetically greater guess is returned. For the code for 1B, we're first initializing some variables: the score of guess 1, the score of guess 2, a boolean whether or not the scores are equal, and a string comparison integer of how the first guess string compares to the second guess. If the two guesses aren't equal, you return the one with the greater score, and that's what this ternary operator is. If G1 is greater than G2, return guess 1, otherwise return guess 2. And then if the two guesses are equal, return the one that comes first alphabetically. So if the comparison integer is greater than 0, that means guess 1 comes first alphabetically, so you return it, otherwise you return guess 2. At question 2, we're first looking at the single table class that has an integer method get num seats, an integer method get height, a double method get view quality, and a void method set view quality. For question 2 itself, we're writing the combined table class. At the restaurant, customers consider tables that are composed of two single tables pushed together. You're writing the class combined table to represent the result of combining two single table objects. A combined table can seat a number of customers that is 2 fewer than the total number of seats in its two single table objects. A combined table has a desirability that depends on the views and the heights of the two single tables. If the two single tables of a combined table object are the same height, the desirability of the combined table object is the average of the view qualities of the two single tables. If the two single tables of a combined table object are not the same height, the desirability of the combined table object is 10 units less than the average view qualities of the two single tables. For question 2, you're implementing the combined table class that has a constructor that has two single tables, a can seat method that implements the logic that a combined table can seat 2 less than the total of both single tables, and the get desirability method where if the two tables' heights are equal, the table's desirability is the average of the two tables' heights. But if the two tables' heights are not equal, the table's desirability is the average of the two tables' heights minus 10. For question 3, looking at the member info class that has members' name, grad year, and has good standing, a constructor, a public int and get grad year, and a public boolean in good standing methods. And you're also looking at the club members class that contains an array list of member infos, a method you'll implement in part A, and a method you'll implement in part B. For question 3A, you're writing the club members method add members, which takes 2 parameters. The first parameter is a string array containing the names of the new club members to be added. The second parameter is the graduation year of all the new club members. The method adds the new members to the members list instance variable. These names can be added in any order. All members added initially are in good standing and share the same graduation year, grad year. For the code for 3A, you're writing the add members method, where you just loop through every name in the names array, and then you add every member from the list of names to member list. For question 3B, you're writing the club members method remove member, which takes the following actions. Returns a list of all students who have graduated and are in good standing. A member has graduated if the member's graduation year is less than or equal to the method's year parameter. If no members meet those criteria, an empty list is returned. Removes from member lists all members who've graduated, regardless of whether or not they're in good standing. For the code for 3B, we're writing the remove members method. You initialize an initial answer variable. You iterate backwards over the member list. Otherwise, if you iterate forwards, when you remove elements, you'll end up skipping elements. If the current member's grad year is less than or equal to year, extract the member. And then if that member is in good standing, add it to the answer. Otherwise, all you're doing is extracting and removing it from the member list. Finally, at the end, return your answer variable. For question 4, we're looking at the array resizer class that has a public static boolean method is non-zero row that you'll implement in part A. It has a public static int num non-zero rows method. And it has a public static int resize method that you'll implement in part B. For question 4a, you're writing the method is non-zero row, which returns true if and only if all elements in row R of a two-dimensional array 2D, are not equal to 0. For the code for 4a, you're writing the is non-zero row method. You go over every column in row R. If one value in row R is 0, you return false. Otherwise, after you go through every column in row R, and none of them were 0, you return true. For question 4b, we're writing the method resize, which returns a new two-dimensional array containing only rows from array 2D with all non-zero values. The elements in the new array should appear in the same order as the order in which they appeared in the original array. For question 4b, you're writing the method resize. You declare rows and column numbers. You declare the result array you're going to return, where the number of rows in this new array is going to be the number of non-zero rows, and the number of columns is just the number of columns. You declare a new row index variable to 0. You go through every row. If a row is non-zero, copy it over. And then within that, you go through every column in row R and copy it over. And then if a row is non-zero, you increment new row index. So you are looking at the next row. Finally, at the end, you return your resulting array. I normally make content teaching you how to code in Python, Java, and JavaScript. So if that sounds interesting to you, please subscribe.